Good morning and welcome to Andisi Talks. This is Marian Golda and I'm here with Engineer Timothy Muhambe, and I'm so excited for our talk today. And the reason why I'm excited is I think it's one of our best talks yet. Seeing from the excitement in registrations and the interest in this conversation. So thank you everyone who has tuned in. Tell us where you're tuning in from, which engineering you're taking, and any questions you have for Engineer Timothy, definitely leave them on the chat. Whether you're watching from LinkedIn or YouTube, you'll be able to see it and address it. So without further ado, Engineer Timothy Muhambe, karibu sana to Andisi Talks. Hi Timothy,
Hello. Thank
welcome to
you.
Andisi Talks. It's good to have you with us.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so
Um,
maybe you can tell us where you are, where we're watching you from, and a bit about yourself uh, and what you do.
so I'm from, my name's Timothy Muhambe. I'm a marine engineer by profession, and currently I'm based in.
Sorry, Timothy, I'm getting a comment that the listeners can't hear you. Anthony, can you confirm you can hear the speaker now? You can start over, Tim. Let's see if they can hear you now.
Okay.
Please proceed.
Uh, you can hear me now? Is the sound okay?
Please confirm if you can hear the audience, please. Anthony?
Confirmed. Can you hear me? Am I audible at the moment?
On my hand, I can hear you very clearly, but Anthony says he cannot hear you, probably on his end. So if you're in the audience, you're so welcome to this conversation. I hope you can hear both me and Timothy clearly. If not, please just let me on the comment section. Yeah, he has confirmed he can hear you now. We can continue. So yes, you're telling us about yourself.
Uh, yes. So, my name's Timothy Muhambe, Engineer Timothy Muhambe,
Mm.
an engineer by profession. I'm a Christian. I'm saved. I believe in Christ as my personal savior.
Awesome. Mm.
Um, I'm currently based in Somalia. I work with a contractor, MS, a contractor to the UN. We, we support the mission to stabilize Somalia at the moment. So I'm offering marine technical services. I
Mm.
think that's the best description of my current role.
Mm.
Um, Outside marine engineering, of course, a couple of hobbies here and there, photographer or once in a while.
Really? Photographer?
Yes.
Awesome. Mm-hmm.
Also, I'm passionate about entrepreneurship, farming.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Um, yeah, just generally, those are my like common things. Of course, amongst my friends, um, I'm a lover of food activities.
Uh-huh.
Involves bringing people together. We eat, we hang
Mm-hmm.
out. Those are my
Yeah.
favorite things.
Mm.
And um, regularly, I'm also I advocate for mental health awareness.
Mm.
So any platform I get chance, I just try to just encourage people to be able to openly talk about
Mm.
and practice good mental health activities and let it not be stigmatized. So yeah, in a nutshell, that's me.
Mm. Awesome. Timothy, I love, I mean, you're living your life to the fullest. But before I asked you why you decided to pursue engineering, about mental health, like, was there something that pushed you towards prioritizing mental health in your life and advocating for it?
Uh, while in college, I someone challenged me
Mm.
to the perspective that it was a lady doing the awareness campaign, and
Mm.
in one conversation with her, and of course she made like a whole presentation. She had an audience. She had like a whole PowerPoint and everything. But I realized that I know so much, like being in engineering, generally politics, business, science, you know a bit of everything. But when it came to mental health, I realized that was totally new information. Like in the most part of my life, I hadn't been exposed to such information. And she had a smaller platform because she was talking to like groups of 5, 10 people, 5, 10 people. So give or take, her reach will be something like maybe 20 to 30 people in a week when she does her campaigns. I had slightly a bigger audience at that time. Maybe let's say my social media reach, WhatsApp or Instagram, would be something like 500 people. So I just, safe to say, I stole the idea and put it on a bigger platform. And now with the feedbacks you get from people quietly, you realize, okay, so this is something worth uh, the public. So I kept on, kept on, kept on, kept on, and it pushes you to research more because, say, you put awareness about something like, well, it's not always just depression. There are like different types of challenges, and then someone will ask you about it, thinking you are the pro, and now you have to do your homework and talk about it more. So you find, say, something like autism. You find maybe a family was quietly hiding an autistic child, but when it's okay, team can talk about it, or uh, the youths can talk about it, and they're like, okay, then they come out and say, oh, I have so and so, I have a child who is autistic, and then now another one comes up, oh, by the way, you can maybe try this and that. So it becomes community enabling. You find the same way we are taught in the traditional society, the child is raised by the village. Now the community is less stigmatized around such matters. So for me, it's just awareness. I'm not a pro, I'm not a counselor, I'm not nothing. I just pushing awareness. I'm like, so now go research. Now talk to each other about it. And it works.
Timothy, that's awesome. What a way to start this conversation. you know? And it's important, even in our careers as engineers, mental health is very important. And
True.
speaking of engineering, and personally speaking to engineers a lot, I speak to engineers a lot, and I've served in engineering institutions, and engineers have issues, problems, career wise, but also because we are human, we also have other problems. So this is not an area to take lightly, and I really want to thank you for bringing it up and advocating for it. I hope we can set aside another time to talk exclusively about mental health. for engineers, and I'd like to hear more from you. So thank you for that. So then we move to why you chose to do engineering. Was it your yeah, you have somebody agreeing with you? uh, Alvin Karani. He loves the idea of mental health also. But now tell us, why did you decide to do engineering? Was it like your passion or something you always wanted to do? And why did you choose marine engineering?
As a child, generally most of my life, I had the natural uh, elements of an engineer, which I'd say it's generally problem solving. So, and of course, problem creating once in a while, but I had just the ick for problem solving. I'm the person who will see a solution in a crisis. So, of course, growing up, I wanted, amongst many careers, I wanted to be a businessman, also wanted to be uh, an engineer. And then now you come to high school, your academics line up, the physics, math, chemistry. I've always been good at sciences. So I wanted to be a businessman, but my academic performance indicated engineering. So I aligned more towards engineering. I didn't know which type of engineering, but I knew I'm an engineer. And then this one time in our church, I fellowship at PCEA, Presbyterian Church of East Africa. So PCA Milele Church in Mombasa. So this one time in church, we had a youth seminar for careers. And we had so many speakers that day. So many people talked about different career options, and they made their presentations, the charts and the PowerPoints and everything. And I can tell you for sure, everything else just went from one year to the other year. But there's a lady, she's famous, Mrs. Karigidu. That's like my number one mentor. So she made her presentation about generally maritime opportunities, to which she talked about now the navigation options, the engineering options, the hospitality options. So that stuck with me, because once she got to marine engineer, the roles, the tasks, or what you do, and of course the potential income. That's why it stuck. Like there's a figure she presented, like how much an engineer can make in 1 year, and then that's it. I was like, say no more. And it was at a time where I had chance to choose career options still in high school. So I saw it, I liked it, and I say this is what I'll take on seriously. Then of course my parents agreed. I mean, which parent doesn't want an engineer child? So they agreed. They're like, okay, that's okay. Prepare. I mean, align your grades and your performance. And yeah, from there it was just an engineering path till date.
Wow. Timothy, first of all, awesome. I like it. What you told me just validated all the high school visits. You see, the way sometimes you go to a high school and you talk about a career and you're like, I hope someone was impacted, or I hope that helped someone. Because sometimes you go and talk about what you do and you're like, did anyone even grasp something? So what you're talking about there is the importance of mentorship, which I think
Yeah.
many people do, and institutions I myself have done. So that was very reassuring that it actually makes a difference. So somebody actually presented marine engineering to you, and that piqued your interest. And actually, that's one of the reasons why we have these conversations, for awareness, and also to help graduates and those who want to pursue engineering. Like, information is out there, so they make informed decisions. I love that you make an informed decision, because I've talked to other engineers, including me. We chose engineering, but we didn't have the full picture of what it was. So we went and we knew as we went by. Yeah, so that was really awesome. Good for you.
Thank you.
And Alvin still agreeing with you so much. Praises on your end. He says he worked with you in an automotive shop in Mombasa and you're very good with your hands. Awesome.
So that was my first job actually. Like, wow, once okay, that's maybe sorry for forward part, but fresh from graduation, I had
Mm,
a chance to work in an automotive shop, and it's Auto Gracious Deco Car Deco in Moy Avenue. So like I worked alongside him, and I mean, yeah, actually, he's the one who is among the people who gave me like some neat hands-on tips because he was in the industry earlier than me. He's an automotive technician. So yeah, that's like part of the journey. I worked with him a
mm.
lot.
Thank you. And thank you, Alvin. So I think now we move to marine engineering. Let's go deep into marine engineering. Maybe you tell us what that's about. What's marine engineering all about?
How? All right. So like, what is marine engineering?
Mm,
It's a it's a branch of engineering where you are responsible. Okay, generally responsible for a ship and for a ship moving efficiently and safely. And then depending on the type of ship now, like there are various systems to care for. So basically the main thing is the marine diesel engines, you have the electrical systems, you are responsible for the propulsion system, that's what keeps it moving forward. The fuel system, the cooling system, the power generation system, and maintenance and repairs, maybe with damages. So, like as you can see, we have container ships, we have bulk carrier kind of ships, and the most famous one I think is passenger ships, because almost everyone knows a cruise ship here or there. We've seen like an amazing video of some nice cruise ship. We have naval ships, we have offshore ships, we have tankers are like really crucial because that's what keeps you moving. If you drive something, if you use power, if you consume fuel, then tanker is like your backbone. Then we have LNG, we have chemical carriers, we have special ships, and they're like a lot more. So it varies with ship to ship, but the common things are like simply propulsion, engines, power systems, fuel systems, cooling system, sewage systems, and maintenance in general. So a marine engineer keeps uh, close tabs to all this and make sure they're functioning in tandem.
awesome, really. I'm trying to think about what that will involve. I mean, I remember something about the science behind the ships floating. And I remember it used to fascinate me so much when I was young, how the big thing would float in water until I learned about it in science. And so you tell us what a marine engineer does to the ship. Like, do you ensure it floats? Do you fix it when it breaks up? How does that look like? But you tell us that later.
Okay,
Before
okay,
that,
I'll
yeah,
get
before
to
we get to that, do you want to
the
add something?
no, I'm saying the theory you're saying is the concept of buoyancy, where like you float
Yeah, yeah.
regardless of material.
Mm,
That's yeah, that's okay. That's not the bigger scale of marine, because that comes to the ship construction.
mm.
But it's actually a simple thing. You just make sure you dispense enough water to keep them up. And of course, if an engineer fumbles, then the ship, you know, falls and capsizes or like slips the other way or does something really messy. So it's mainly you want your ship to move, so you make sure the engines are in on and in check. You want your ship fuel, so you keep the fuel system running. Of course, we keep our fuels in like various tanks around the ship. You are responsible for that. And of course, everyone else in the ship is using something electrical. So you have generators running, providing power for everyone else. Usually you have like on a small ship, maybe two generators running at a go. On bigger ones, probably three or four at a go, depending on the type. Ordinarily, of course, life must go on, so we need like water being pumped around. So you have several pumps. Most people ask like, how do we get fresh water? There's some magical equipment called a freshwater generator that turns seawater to fresh water. That's a whole system on its own. And then you are responsible for the electrical components, the lighting, the powering, and all that. So it's not done by one, it's like a whole team. So
Yeah,
various
and
people,
you talk us through that also, like the team. Yeah,
yeah, it's ahead, we'll get there.
yeah,
So
yeah.
maybe why engineers matter now, besides like just keeping the ship running. Of course, without a marine engineer on board or around, your ships won't sail, cargo won't move around, fishing will stop, will be hindered. Offshore industries, the oil and gas offshore industries will suffer. Naval, that's military naval operations also will become quite difficult. So it's like most like 80% of global trade happens over the sea. So you not being at sea makes it hard to really explain it fully, but a lot goes on to just keep things running because it's a whole connection of ships and ports and management and coordination and logistics. But so engineers just do the technical part.
And just a bit about the fresh water,
Yeah.
converting seawater to fresh water. I've heard of definitely the desalination plants in the Middle East, but then does it, because you need to remove the salt also? Is it a whole system that converts it to fresh water and also removes the salt? What does is it like? And is that system inside the boat or it's somewhere near the sea?
No, no. Um, yeah, it's part of the equipment. It's like a whole section on a ship because now it takes in water from the side, pumps it around, treats it. You get the salt out, you get water. Now the fresh water pumped to various tanks for usage. So it's similar to the desalination you know about, but now it's compact to a ship setting.
Okay, okay, thank you. Um, Maybe now you can tell us about okay, who can become a marine engineer? Like,
Um,
yeah, what qualifies one to marine engineering?
of course, academic is number one.
Sorry?
With academic
Oh,
qualification.
academic. Okay. Mm,
Yeah, yeah. With our Kenyan academic systems, of course, you need your sciences, you need a humanity, you need language. Those are like to get you through to an institution. For
mm,
instance, from high school to a maritime institution, but
mm,
over and above being academically qualified,
mm.
now they're like technical aspects to it because you need to be, of course, physically fit. That's a major thing. You need mentally, you need to be like a problem solver. You need to be adventurous. You need to be confident working with machines. You need to be willing to be continuously learning. It's not stop like once you finish your coursework, you're done and you work. Actually, it's one of the courses you find people learning even in their 50s, 60s, 70s. They literally learn something new equivalent to a graduate. So you need to be constantly learning. And then, of course, there's the discipline element to it. You need to be comfortable with challenges. You have no room for crying, and mostly, the time you need to consult, you're the one who's being consulted because on board everyone is expected to contribute to the uh, to the problem. The communication is like it's a do or die communication because one miscommunication can lead to like a deadly accident. Say for instance you give the wrong instruction, that's doomed someone. So and the marine communications are usually standard. Like we already even have our own like our own phonetic system, so you don't get mixed up. You don't really blame accent or different tongues to it. It's just standard. A is has its own like the alpha, the bravo, the charlie. It's a whole alphabet. You can't mix up. And so it's a mix of academic qualifications, as the picture you showed before. It's a mix of academic and soft skills that are needed.
Okay. 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 Um, so I think what you've taken us through is like some of the like kind of like skills that somebody should expect to cultivate. Also as a marine engineer, like what would get you through the door and also what you'd some of the skills you'd expect to cultivate after, you know. And the thing of continuous learning, I think that's actually very true. Like learning is forever. Forever. Like literally every project is a challenge. I don't know if that works for marine engineering. Do you have projects? Or the project is one, the ship?
It's every day has its own. It's not major, big project. It's like tiny tasks to accomplish. So
Yeah, and you, mhm.
every day has like mini projects. No day is literally the same.
So what I wanted to ask you, you mentioned one of the who can become an engineer. Of course, we start with academia. And honestly, Tim, before this conversation, I didn't know, first of all, marine engineering would never cross my mind. And I wouldn't know where to go to school, like literally. So where did you go to school and where can somebody study in Kenya and maybe other parts of the world?
Um, hmm. So Kenyan, I went to Bandari College and then I got my diploma at Bandari College. It was at that time not so many institutions offered marine engineering. It was basically Bandari College, Technical University of Mombasa, and JKUAT. JKUAT offered the degree. Then Bandari and TUM offered diploma. TUM offered a degree as well. So I went for Bandari. I made like a strategic advice. I got a strategic advice because Bandari being next to the port, being having a having access to like everything you'll ever need, it it was the best fit at that time because of their facilities. But right now, there are a lot more institutions offering the coursework. I know there's Bandari still offering Bandari Maritime Academy. There's still Technical University of Mombasa. There's JKUAT. There's Kenya Coast Polytechnic, and I know there's MKU coming up. Though it's offering not completely the whole coursework, but yeah, there are not so many institutions, and they're so specific to get.
Okay, okay. I think that works. That works for somebody who wants to get into marine engineering, because I think we also have like people who want to venture into engineering. Come to us and ask us, like for example, this especially this year, the students who did their form fours, they were asking us about engineering, and we did like a whole program. We tried to do like a whole program to try to help them to see what engineering to get into. So that will work out for somebody who is looking for such information. And with that, now you can maybe show us, like once now you get out of school, what what career paths await you out there in the industry, like what with marine engineering training, what careers options does somebody who trains in marine engineering have?
Maybe before I just jump onto career paths,
Mm-hmm.
let's maybe I give you like the structure of the education pathway
Yeah,
precisely for, you know.
yeah,
So
sure.
common, we have people of interest who finish high school.
Mm,
You finish school depending on your grade and your
mm,
resources. You'll need a good performance in math, physics, English,
mm,
and then with those you can catch a diploma, or you can catch a certificate, a diploma, or a bachelor's degree. It's
mm,
up to its option. And then, of course, each has its own timing. I know diploma was at 3 years when I did it. Certificate was at 2 years when I did it. Degree was at 5 years. And then now the game changer comes after your academic training. You
mm.
need some
Okay,
sort.
can I just interrupt you, please, before you
Yeah,
continue? May I ask you why you preferred going all that? Like, normally, okay, there are people who have the analogy that people, there's always this controversial thing that if you do a diploma, you become more hands-on than if you do a degree. So why did you go all the way? Like, why didn't you just go do a degree or go do a diploma? Why did you go do a certificate, then a degree, then a diploma, then a degree? Was there a reason why you chose all that, or
oh
is
no,
it
sorry.
all aligned with marine engineering?
For myself, I did just a diploma and degree.
Mm,
Um, the degree is a different story because I got blessed with a scholarship. So it
mm,
was one of the opportunities. Okay, here's a good chance, funded, go study. I was like, why not? But with a diploma, you're quite okay.
mm, mm,
Degree, you're okay. And I
mm,
can lose, say the analogy is kind of true.
mm,
Diploma is really hands-on, and they get things done uh, in any form, like on the field or on board or in a shipyard. They get things done, while a degree holder has slightly less hands-on and a lot more decision-making capacity, like leadership kind of.
Okay. Okay.
So also true, diploma are really hands-on. Plus the institutions favor like such because the resources are in like TVET institutions and colleges and maritime institutions really favor practice and do it yourself.
Okay. Okay. So I think you can proceed with the education pathways.
But yeah, so yeah, once you're done with your academic, you need a C training, and after C training, you need something to achieve something called a certificate of competence. So this is what separates most engineering fields from marine because um, even an electrician sails on board, even pump specialists sails on board. Like we have various kinds of uh, engineers, but what separates marine from others, even mechanical engineers, before being able to sail and become marine engineer. I mean, work on ship environment, but without sea training, you are more or less just an engineer. You're not marine qualified because the sea training gives you
What training? Sorry.
sea training.
Oh,
Sea,
sea
sea.
training. Oh,
You have to get on board for at least 12 months, then come back and do your certificate of competence. In Kenya, it's done at the Kenyan Maritime Authority, and yeah, it's just what have you done, what do you know. They certify your capacity. So with that, you hold something called a COC, Certificate of Competency. So now from the chart, like shared, these are pathways for an officer. On board, we have two kinds of crew. We have an ordinary seaman, and then we have officers. Officers are more of like managerial. Of course, work is shared around, but officers are kind of managerial. Ordinary seamen are more of the hands-on crew. So when once you finish school, whatever pathway you want to take, for engineering, you are a cadet on your first sailing. So you sail as a cadet for 12 months. A cadet is just
okay.
basically a student on board. They
Oh,
teach you everything. They teach you like you put into practice what you learned on paper. That's a
okay.
cadet.
Mm.
Once you are through
It's
with your
like
cadet,
internship.
yes,
Okay.
but you actually
Mm-hmm.
work well. You have responsibilities assigned to you.
Okay.
And then once you are done, you go and do your certificate of competency. Now you
Mm.
become a fourth officer, fourth engineer or
Mm.
fourth officer. And
Mm.
then the story goes on. You sail enough, you rank up. Every ranking up has an exam in between, an
Really?
assessment in between, yeah. So that's why the studies never stop. Even a chief engineer is assessed every once in a while to validate their documents. Something like I think every 5 years.
Mm. So
So
would you
generally,
say the career progression is more predictable? Like, for example, if you were to graduate in engineering, okay, maybe like civil or mechanical, and you like it's so unpredictable, like your career path, like literally you can spend, I don't know, like the growth, it's not very predictable. But as you say, for marine engineering, it's very, because you, after a year you get some assessment, then you move to the next level. Is that it?
yes, it is
Yeah.
very, it's like really structured. But now this is for who want to work on board. Of course, there
Okay.
are a lot of options. but this is one of the options.
So this is one of the career paths.
Yes, the famous one. This
Okay.
is what like 90% of people know and actually do.
And if you do, if you say cadet, that means somebody must have gone to the military
Yeah,
to
some
pursue
institutions.
marine engineering.
It's yeah, some institutions enforce paramilitary training
Okay.
for about. It's a whole semester's work, about 3 to 6 months of paramilitary.
Okay.
So yeah, it's
All
part
right.
of the training.
So I really appreciate everyone who has joined us today. I'm seeing comments from the audience, good things about you, Timothy. There is Evelyn saying, here for Timothy Muhambe, amazing, amazing leader and friend. Thank you, Evelyn. And Faith, Faith saying, wonderful conversation, very informative. Thank you so much, Faith, for tuning in. Yeah, so Timothy, there is a question that I got from the participants who registered that is related to what you're speaking about right now. And maybe as you continue, you can respond to it because they were wondering how they can go about securing cadetship or sea time. Is that what you talked about, the 12-month training?
Yes, yes, yes. So
Okay.
the natural process, it's equivalent to the job hunting because that's where your career starts. So the natural process is to apply around shipping lines. You apply around shipyards and ship agents. You apply with shipping agents or crewing agents because there are people whose work is just to screen uh, professionals and give you placement. The depending on your institutions, some institutions actually have partnerships. So they have a deal where you find once you graduate, they connect you to certain shipping companies, and you go check maybe your sea time over there, and once you're done, you come back and graduate. So the natural processes are just apply around, apply here, there, and then you get. It's a bit of a wait. It has a long wait because for a bit of time,
Yeah.
you didn't many shipping companies taking Kenyan cadets. So maybe you find sometimes, unfortunately, people will be taken on board for lower ranks, or you'll be taken on board for maybe smaller ships that don't offer the seagoing. But it's similar to the job hunting scenario because you just apply. So what most people don't know is where to apply. That
Yes.
now that's you have to make efforted research on shipping lines within Kenya and
Okay.
shipping and recruiting agents. KMA offers a whole list of verified crewing agents in Kenya,
What's KMA?
Kenya Maritime Authority.
Ah, okay. Okay.
So maybe your first step is check them out, know their offices, get their contacts, and then apply.
Okay. I think that's well answered. So, have you taken us through every education pathway?
Yeah, yes. Yeah. For
Yeah.
this one, I
Okay.
went to the engine department. So the highest ranking is chief engineer.
Yeah.
Uh, that fellow is just in charge of everything. And of course, the higher you go, the more responsibilities to your plate.
Okay. Okay. Now, you need to show us a bit about what a typical day as a marine engineer looks like.
Uh,
Yeah, we'd like to see that. Maybe tell us
uh,
about it. What's your experience? You told us about daily having many projects.
so a typical day, like a natural routine,
Mm,
is a ship has 8 hours, 8 hours, 8 hours shift. So
mm,
take the second or the third 8 hour shift,
mm,
and depending on your rank, you're always paired to another officer. So, for
mm,
instance, cadet would always be paired to second engineer or third
mm,
engineer or
mm,
chief. You find maybe fourth engineer is paired to second, something like that.
mm,
But you always have just 8 hours, 8 hours, 8 hours with a list of tasks to do.
mm,
Uh, Daily routine will be something like morning toolbox talk, meeting, planning the day ahead.
mm,
Then you do an engine room inspection where list of matters to ascertain. Then throughout the day, depending on your checklist, things like fuel monitoring, repairs,
mm,
safety, you do machinery maintenance, you do record keeping, and in case of an emergency situation, now you do like you respond to equipment failure
mm.
or response or mechanical troubleshooting.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, just like our picture there, we have that's now like a routine of a fourth engineer.
Over?
Fourth engineer is the junior most engineer. You go
Oh,
fourth, third, second, fifth.
so you start from cadet, then fourth.
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, fourth, they'll wake up, breakfast, engine room watch. Uh, the watch involves the routine inspection. It's a lot of things. I think we'll see
Mm,
later in the video because there are a lot of equipment to be monitored. Lunch break. After lunch break, you come back, do your watch. Paperwork can be done after. Coffee break. Uh, the sounding is
mm.
something. Say you always have to check your fluid levels. So you check your
Okay.
fuel level, your oil levels, you check your water, and you record it and
Okay.
analyze it because are we having enough for where we are going? Are we consuming too much? Such decisions. And then, of course, dinner and leisure. Once you're off duty, you're seriously off duty. So that's where you pursue your other hobbies. You do what you like, depending on the ship. The recreational facilities. One thing I learned over my experience is coffee
Mm-hmm.
break, lunch break, tea break are like really, really important. You can't do that. Let me work through lunch, or let me work through uh, tea break, or let me work through 3 o'clock coffee. You have to stop and rest.
Was that mandatory? I mean, right now you're speaking to engineers who work for hours. I
Well,
love, I love that you guys have a routine. I mean, it takes so much discipline to go through that because engineers work for hours and hours and late nights and all that. And yeah, I think rest is important. That's the message you're getting from here. So you have
exactly.
around that 1 hour, 30 minutes for rest and dinner.
One for rest and dinner. That's after your shift, because most likely you have done your 8 hours already. But generally, each break is usually about half an hour to an 15, half an hour at most.
Really interesting. So should we go through also Okay, any other thing about your typical day? And I wanted to ask you, like, normally, how long do you spend in the ship? Like, let's say in a year. Do you have like, I don't know, what is it called? Leave days?
On a ship, yeah. There are, you have
Is
like
it? Do you
contracts.
spend like? Mm-hmm.
You can have a 2 month contract. You can have a 5 month contract. The longest I've seen is a 6 month contract. But yeah, your contractual date now determine when you get on board. Let's say if you have a 3 month, so that means you are 3 months on board, and then you'll have probably like a month. Then again, you come back 3 months on board, like so. Or you have 4 months on board, 1 month off, or sometimes you have 3 months off. It varies from contract to contract.
Okay. Okay.
Uh, this is more on our typical day.
Yeah.
There's like safety, reputation, and environment.
Oh, this
Um,
is this one. So on a
yes,
typical day, you have to look at safety and all that.
actually, yeah, this is what makes or breaks most of your routine because, say, for instance, you make, let's say, an oil spill, or you cause a fire accident, or you cause an economical delay. Let's say you stop the ship for too long, so cargo will to arrive. These are the things at the back of your mind. You really have to know your laws and your obligation to the ship owners. That's also within a day because you have to take care of the environment, you have to take care of economic sense, and you have to be safe.
Can we see some videos about like the typical day? Maybe you can tell us which one to start with.
Yeah, you can just show and then we'll go over them one by
Yeah.
one.
Okay. You can start with that. You tell us what you're looking at.
So this is ship accommodation. This is where you stay. This is your room for your 3 months, 6 months, 5 months. That's where you sleep. Mostly if you see
Okay.
2 beds, means that's quite a junior office. But basic living conditions are really good.
I love it. And
Yep.
you share the space. You share the space like two people.
Yeah, you share the space, 2 people. Sometimes depends on like the ship size. Sometimes you just one person. Varies.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Then maybe. So, do you want to tell us what that's about before we show it on, or should we see it first?
So that the one with the noise and all that. That's a typical room. Um, the noise is part of your aesthetics, so you have to cover your ears every now once in a while. But typical engine room, and you'll see multiple equipment. All those are what you do in your day to day. You have to inspect each and every one of those. You have to like um, make sure each and everything is running. So you generally the biggest equipment is the main engine, and that's your main customer. And then the rest are support, and they have to be running.
Okay, so we can look at it now.
Yes.
Awesome.
So
So
yeah, you're
the
up and
noise is
down.
part of the, so that's the part of the safety. You're talking about safety.
Oh yeah, the safety now you have to protect your ears so that
Mm.
you're not like have damp eardrums.
Okay. Okay. Then maybe the okay. The let's show another. Then maybe you can take us through it. So what are we
So
looking at?
now this is a shipyard
Mm-hmm.
construction. This is a ship construction yard. This is now an alternative career path
Okay.
to a marine engineer who
Mm.
has gotten his competency and doesn't want to pursue the seagoing route. This
Mm.
is you're responsible for designing, constructing, and testing uh, boats, ships, and ship parts.
Okay.
This technical. This one favors heavily
Mm.
um, alternative. I mean, engineers who have mixed qualifications. Say you are mechatronic engineer, or you're like
Mm.
plant engineer, or you're like
Mm.
mechanical engineer, or
Mm.
a naval architect, or fabricating expert. Any you find this is the easiest entry to
Mm.
combine skills to marine engineering.
Mm. You know, speaking of when you started talking about mechatronics and all that, now I understand why there was interest, from different kinds of engineers in this talk. And I think there was one mechanical engineer, was it mechanical, who was asking if they can get a chance with the Navy of Marine Corps. I don't know if they're just interested in the Navy or also in marine engineering, but maybe you can comment about that.
Um, okay, I don't know particularly about the Navy
Mm-hmm.
because uh, each each department handles its own. But
Mm.
I can say to mechanical engineer
Mm.
interest in marine field,
Mm.
uh, possibly a small conversion coursework if you want to get your
Mm.
document correct,
Mm.
and then if you want to be fully certified as a marine engineer, you
Mm.
need a sea time. That's the 12 month on board, and then you get your COC, and
Mm.
then now with that you can fully practice in marine engineering projects either on board or at a shipyard or at a construction site. There's a bit of a conversion. It will take you maybe give or take 2 years, fully 2 to 3 years.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, I don't know if you're done with the typical day. I think there's one we haven't seen. Have we looked at this one?
Oh, yes, that's the ship construction.
Oh, sorry, not that one. Should be this. That.
Oh, oh, that's an engine control room.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a representation of all the equipment, the status, the condition, the quantities, the parameters. You look at everything from here and then you react. Now, you remember the other video, like various equipments, they all reflect here. So all those buttons represent
Okay.
scenario like that.
So, okay. Okay. So you were talking about different kind of people, like the team, everybody,
Yes.
like who, and you told us you'll take us through that. I don't know at what time, but when you do, maybe you can tell us also who works in the control room. But before that, we're getting more comments from the audience. From Jacob Muhambe. I don't know if you're related. He's saying, I think we need more of such eloquent and well informed guest speakers like Engineer Timothy. Good job. Thank you, Jacob, for tuning in. And we also have a comment from Brio H. Jin. Tuning in, it's cool to see you talk about your journey as a marine engineer. Big up, bro. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, so Timothy, I was saying you will tell us also who operates the control room, and if engineering, of course, what kind of engineer that does that also.
Um, hmm.
So do you want to take us through that now, or we do that later? Because I'm
I,
seeing there's also another illustration on career pathways. I'm not sure um, how you'd like to go
um,
about it.
okay, let me just play with the video running.
Mm-hmm.
So I told you like on board we have officers and ordinary seamen. So you find mostly the officers are the one managing such. You'll find now, let's say if you're on duty, say we have the second engineer working with the fourth engineer. So it will generally be officer on duty is second and fourth, and maybe two more ordinary seamen, probably an oiler, greaser, or a pumpman, or a motorman, or a junior officer, or a cadet. And the person who will be managing the control room will most likely be the senior most. So that will, at that moment, has to be the second engineer. So the second engineer now monitors all this alongside the other officer, but the other officer is doing more of inspection and patrol work and uh, looking around. And if there's something to be addressed, now they address it as a team. We divide the tasks. Say it's a duty having chief engineer alongside second engineer. Now the senior most one will be the one who is uh, at the control room and making a few decisions here and there, here and there. And mostly the control room takes instructions from the captain. So it's something like if they need maybe more, say, not so common, but maybe they need uh, speed or they need to reduce something or there's an issue, then they call, there's a telephone, they call, they report, then a reaction happens here or a decision is made. Or let's say when you are changing over generators, say we've run two generators for, let's say, 48 hours, and now we need to rest them. We change over to the generator number 3 and 4. You call everyone up there and then you tell them we are changing over. So you'll see like a slight flicker. Then they do the whole process. So yeah, that's generally, that's duty on board.
That's what the training, the stages, because you say it's the second engineer who does that. So the stages you have in between where there's assessment, that's the purpose of the assessment, to introduce you to different responsibilities. Would that be it? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Um, I don't know if there's anything else, but there was also this other illustration. No, this one we've looked at.
Yeah. So, yeah. I think we've looked at all illustrations. Maybe I
Yeah.
can just, since we've seen the construction site,
Mm.
I can touch on like marine career pathways for an
Yeah,
engineer.
sure. Please.
Uh, the famous one is working on board. Of course, that's what everyone knows, or most people know about. But besides being a ship engineer, now you can be a port-based engineer. That means you're doing most of your maintenance at the port. They bring you the problems over to your maybe a dockyard or a workshop
Mm.
or a.
Okay.
You can become a marine surveyor, but that comes with a bit of experience, a bit of more training. Your role is just to make sure the ships that come to your port are up to standard. You can become a shipyard engineer. Now that's construction, or design
Mm.
or that or repairs while it's on board, because there's something called dry docking where every 5 years a ship has to get out of the water and be lifted so that it's maintained. Like they check the under, they do major overhauls. So now that's a shipyard engineer. You can be a maintenance engineer to institutions that have marine-like equipment. Say, for instance, Kengen generates power. They have generators running always. On
Yeah,
board, they
yeah,
have generators running.
yeah.
So you can be those kinds of engineers, like in steam plants, boilers, or hydroelectric plants. So you can become maintenance engineer. You
Mm.
can be naval architect. That's the person who designs marine equipment.
Mm.
You become an offshore engineer. That's
Mm.
drilling units. You can become a yacht engineer. That's the luxury side. You can become a marine consultant, where you advise on matters probably to governments, to institutions, to companies, but those come with experience. So you can also become an outboard specialist. So that's a whole different line again. So yeah,
What's that? What's outboard specialist? What do they do?
those are engines that are not in the boat; they're like outside the boat.
That's quite a number of things somebody can do with marine engineering.
Yeah.
So do you ever have people who pursue marine engineering, and would you say the opportunities are plenty, or it's just like any other job opportunity? Like, because the reason why I'm asking about that is the situation right now. You'd find like so many people graduating in engineering, then they can't practice engineering, so they have to pivot to other careers as a result of that. Yeah. So, and then also some would get to business, and you told us like you're a business person and all that. Um, so I think maybe something that you would tell marine engineering graduates, like, how is the picture out there in terms of opportunities? Yes, now we know there are all those career paths out there, but how is the picture in terms of opportunities?
Well, I came to understand opportunities come with information. So fortunately, some people train with a limited mindset where you only think of one career path and
Mm-hmm.
you chase it with all your effort. But if people understand the variety of career paths available,
Yeah, yeah,
now
yeah.
can cast a wider net, because it's like every other industry. There are limitations. They're like you find 1,000 graduates, but only hundreds of vacancies. So definitely some will be unemployed, or you find there's favoritism to like certain nations over certain nations. There's limitations, let's say gender, because we also have female engineers, but
Yeah.
not every agency is willing to recruit or take on female engineers. So, like every other industry has its fair level of challenges, but as with my experience or like a solution to it, I tend to think, or I tend to want people to know their options, because there's no harm in qualifying as a marine engineering engineer and starting off as at a shipyard, or starting off at a plant, or starting off at a institution that utilizes just one of your marine uh, qualifications.
Yes, and I agree. I agree completely, Timothy, because first of all, I think even personally with civil engineering, I don't think I quite got the full picture of what I could do with my um, training. I came to learn about that much later, and I came to learn it's the number of things I could do, so many, just so many. So yes, you are right. It's important to know the wide range of options that you have, then you can actually because if you don't know, then you can't even start looking for the opportunity that you don't know exists. Yeah, so I think that's important. And Faith is reinforcing what you just said. She's saying opportunities come with information, expanding your mindset and opportunities through more information. So Faith is reinforcing actually the response that you gave. Yeah. So can we
Yes.
move to certifications?
Certifications. Oh yes, yes, yes. We have
Yeah. I think that would do with like some of the key skills, but also I think certifications, the point is you'll tell us what the purpose that they serve, but maybe you can speak a bit about that. Like, for example, let's see, what would that look like? I don't know if you have things, I think you'd have like I think leadership, PMP, like Faith has PMP. Yeah, so maybe you can tell us the ones that are applicable for marine engineering.
professional certifications apart from college.
Yeah, right.
The major what everyone needs, even the hospitality industry on board, even the deck people, like just anyone on a ship must have, whether you qualify, even a photographer on board, even a swimming instructor, even a security guy, just as long as you want to work on a ship, like the basic certificates. One major one is called STCW, basic safety training. Then there is firefighting, there is personal survival techniques, and there is first aid. Then there is security awareness. And now you find those ones, those are like mandatory to the extent that it's required by the International Maritime Organization. That's IMO. That's like the global standard setter for the marine industry. So once those are the basic ones, the STCW, PST, that's personal survival technique, PSSR, personal safety and social responsibility, fire prevention and firefighting, and then elementary first aid. Anyone, even you as a civil, anyone who wants to work on board needs those basics. And that's what separates now whatever um, engineering qualification to marine. Because as a marine, this is what I have that you don't have. Then as you advance, now depending on the type of ship and the type of cargo, you add on advanced firefighting, proficiency in survival craft, you add training for oil tanker, you add training for chemical tanker, training for gas cargo. Like it now changes to what kind of environment you're working with. So
Okay.
yeah,
And,
that's it.
yeah. Then there is, you talked about this.
Now that's particular to STCW. That's the first one because most people think of STCW like a whole course requiring someone imagining it like another 2 year, 1 year, but it's actually the last time I did it, it was a 21-day coursework. I don't know
Okay.
if that finished, but yeah, it's simple. You first understand the requirement, you take the classes, the training. The training are hands when you go to an institution, you get trained, and then you are get and then you receive the certificate.
Yeah, because
And
that was my next question. Like, where do you get these certifications?
uh, there's so many
Mm,
institutions. I can't
mm,
list, but I know for sure there's so many. I even noticed there's some that are out of Mombasa. Some are based in like the central region, Nairobi region. But
mm.
the first one, the one that I did at is Bandari College. I mean
Okay.
Bandari Academy, and but there's so many institutions offering STCW, and it's a requirement for like this is the first thing your employer asks you if they want you to work on board.
Okay. So then it means, what was the question? This is not like training that comes with the job. It's somebody has to be proactive with it. So that means that once you finish your training, your academic training, then somebody should proactively look to get these certifications. Is that right?
Yes,
Okay.
correct, correct. Though it depends on the institution, because for
Yeah.
instance, where I took my degree from, it was integrated into the coursework.
Okay.
In some institutions, you do it
Mm.
after.
Okay. Okay. Okay, Timothy. Okay. So is that it with the certification? Before now we
Yeah,
move to maritime opportunities in Kenya.
yeah. So yeah, once you're certified, you have your papers in order. Probably some industries that actually take a lot of marine engineers. I'd say in general, just like shipping companies. You're looking at ports. You're looking at boat manufacturers. You're looking at fishing companies. You're looking at oil and gas companies. You're looking at offshore wind energy or offshore wave energy. You're looking at shipyards. You're looking at Coast Guard. You're looking at Navy. You're looking at probably Kenya Navy for Kenyans. International shipping companies. You're looking at cruise ships. So maybe this is like now maybe an easy guiding tool to someone who completed their academic journey, because most people just focus maybe on shipping companies and
Yes.
miss out some just focus on ports and miss out the rest. So those are like industries and
So those are the
opportunities.
industries. Those,
Yeah,
those are like some places where somebody can now go start looking for opportunities.
yes.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. And it's very
Opportunities.
important. Timothy, actually, I don't know if we forget or like this looks like it's a small piece of information, but it could mean the whole world to someone. For real. For real, for real, for real. I promise you, you can finish studying and not even know where to walk. Walk in and ask for an opportunity. Because they never teach you that in school. They never teach you where you're gonna get the opportunities. You need to figure it out after. So I'm sure all the marine engineers watching here, those who are in school are so lucky. Thank you.
Yeah. So um, opportunities still revolve maybe locally around those companies, workshop, with builders, tourism operators, and offshore companies. But one particular thing like Kenya is doing now or embracing in the recent past is encouraging or like putting emphasis in the blue economy, and it's been like a trending topic if you've actively follow around the news, to
Yeah,
which
yeah.
now maybe a simple, I mean, my understanding of the blue economy is the sustainable use of ocean, seas, and inland waters in various ways to create jobs and to grow our economy and to improve like livelihoods and of course to protect our marine environment. So with Kenya, the government is embracing the conversation and also the potential to you know, to the creativity of the youth and of citizens and professionals to apply themselves in the blue economy. Now, I'd say for marine engineers, how you can contribute directly, you can look at, we have Lamu Port being seriously developed. You can look towards creative ways of modernizing ports and maritime infrastructure. You can look at expanding of shipping and maritime transport. You can look at sustainable fishing techniques and efficiency in fishing, because you just take the normal fishing practices at hand, make a study, and offer like a creative way to make things more efficient. You can look at marine tourism or recreational boating. Now that opens you to like the likes of jet skis, luxuries, and the fun activities, skydiving, and all that. You can look towards developing offshore renewable energy opportunities. You can look at inland waterways and like how we can utilize them. And now this calls for creativity as an engineer, as a young person, and it will call for people to apply themselves, because you can't really solve all the problems, but if you just pick one and run with it, it's like a gain to to many young Kenyans, because now this is engineers supporting Kenya's vision. So
Yeah.
the moment you start working with in alignment to government goals and institutional goals, it's easy. Riding along a wave, you pitch an idea, and technical support is there, funding is there,
Mm.
uh, standardization is there. It's like there are people to hold you up. You know, you pitch your idea, you get it to the right people, and winning.
Yeah, that's actually important what you said there, Timothy, because actually most engineering projects they're aligned to the government. That's why politics is very important, like understanding the political landscapes. So that's actually very important because it's something that the government is already focusing and it's something that is aligned to your skills. So just being creative around it and providing opportunities around those areas. Thank you.
Yeah, that's now the local opportunities. Internationally, it it really varies, but it's around applying uh, here and there. Internationally, it's also the same. Once you know what industries need your services, now it's easier to focus on like certain regions. So if you know, for instance, the United Arab Emirates has a lot of oil and gas production, so you're aligned to
Yeah,
that.
right.
If you know, for instance, West African region has more of, as well, oil and gas, you know, you're aligned to such. You know, for instance, some regions have insecurity, so you're aligned to naval and military. So you just align internationally to what's in that region. And of course, you have to understand climate, because working in like, let's say the cold areas is a whole concept of engineering different to tropical areas. It's again different to mixed regions. So an engineer who has qualification in like ice and freezing environment will be limited to that zone. One who has,
Sorry, what qualification would that be?
for instance, your ship needs to operate in low temperatures.
Ah, I understand it. Okay.
Respect such. You need to work around the cold. So it's a whole adventure of its own. Opposite to the tropicals, you need to work around the heat. So you have lots of overheating, specialized fluids. You need to understand where your problem may come. So yeah,
Okay.
international, it's same. Once you understand the industry, once you know uh, what gaps where, then you apply yourself if you're willing.
So maybe you can tell us yourself because you're not in Kenya. Like, did you proactively look for opportunities outside Kenya?
Mm, yes. I studied outside Kenya, so now that gave me a bit of an advantage of exposure because I studied in Turkey, so I understood the Middle East, the Near East region. I understood what goes around the Mediterranean waters. I understood the kind of opportunities there, which are more towards the chemical carriers, oil carriers, and it's actually a mix. It's like a cocktail of opportunities. And then I was lucky enough to do a project that favors like military activities. So I got that exposure as well. So that's what I don't know. I had like an open basket.
Mm.
I just look for which is most convenient.
Okay. 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 What I wanted to ask you just escaped my mind, but I just love that. Yeah, I've thought about it. Thought about it. I wanted to ask about the like in your career, in your whole maritime career, what's the one project that challenged you the most, or one thing that you accomplished that I mean that you're just I don't know so proud of?
Mm,
If you're allowed to share the details. I don't know. I don't know how it works because there's the navy and all that, the army and all that, and I know there is so much that is confidential.
maybe my number two, because I can't really share the top one.
Mm.
And my number two happy achievement is while I was still doing my internship.
Yeah.
So we had a challenge of frequent engine failures, and we proposed how do I call it? Ordinarily, you'd call it a swapping of like from one engine to another. So that
Mm-hmm.
involves um, changing a lot of things around the vessel. It was a small vessel, like not so big, but it involves changing a lot. So the moment they gave me like indication that they are willing to go ahead with like the whole idea, so we picked an engine and then we did. It was like a group effort. So we picked an engine, we did the proper calculations, and then we got to remove the old one. We fitted what we had in mind, and we put a bit of creativity around it. Like none, because we're working with older technicians, whom the kind of whom you share an idea, and they say, no, we didn't do that in our days." Then you say, "Okay, let me try. If it fails, you'll remove it."
Mm. Mm, mm, mm. Yeah.
Like a lot of quick solution to
Mm.
common problems. And here, there, fitting, try this, try trial and error, try and error. And our boat worked on the first try. Like we were testing it, it actually worked. And see trial, they allocated it to the boat, and it served like uh, a whole weekend, around 72 hours. And then by the time it's coming back, the users were so happy, the managers were so happy, the owners were so happy. Like no one thought that's the boat that was originally giving issues. They thought it was a new boat. They used it with excitement of a new boat. And yeah, eventually the whole crazy ideas we suggested were all embraced. We got to implement it to all the other boat because it was one amongst six. So we went to implement the improvements to the SIG. We didn't do swapping, but we just implemented some improvements, some changing piping, change this, change that, add this, add that. And yeah, they didn't like give credit, but every time I see those boats moving around, I'm happy.
Timothy, that's so awesome. And I love that like you had like an alternative idea because you're not the first young person I hear say that. Like sometimes there is that feeling that because of wanting to try new things, there's always some I don't know what it is, but there's always something about like the older generation of engineers and the upcoming engineers. And sometimes it's hard to find somebody who would listen to new ideas. So I just love that you went out and was innovative about it, right? Because if you're not innovative, like we'll always stay with the same. We can only grow if we advance and we try out new things. I love that. And when you're talking about that, I was thinking about AI, and I was thinking, do you guys maybe think about AI with marine engineering, and how does that apply? Have you ever thought about it?
Uh, Not actively.
Mm-hmm.
No, I've not really. I've never thought of integrating like AI and engineering.
Mm.
Uh, no,
Not yet.
yeah, I'm
Okay.
actually I'm one of those how would I say very traditional people. Because say
No,
for
you just said you're innovative.
no like in the sense that let's say when I was in school, I studied with people who had access to there's this like the platforms that help you do homework, they help you analyze your stuff, like they just make your academic journey easy. So personally, I discovered most of AI platforms really, really late, like a few years ago, like 2 or 3 years ago, while I was with people 5 to 10 years ago who embraced AI earlier on. So I was more of those, if I want to know something, I'll go there, I'll go read, like I'll read, I'll scroll through books here, there, and then scavenge what I need. But recently is when I discovered you can actually ask AI to summarize for you something or that. It took me so long. I embraced it quite late. So I guess I'm not yet there with AI, but
Yeah.
maybe in future.
Okay, but I love that at the end you appreciated it. Like it's not
Oh
the
yes.
same like getting a summary of a book and reading it. Of course, reading it is the better way, but it's just good that you can get the important points in I don't know a microsecond. Yeah. And something else I wanted to ask you also when you're telling me about your second most exciting project is I almost, okay, you've talked about the career path, you've talked about the teams that you have, and I was just thinking because, okay, the specific details that I'm remembering right now is the control room, and I remember the checking the oil, and I remember when you're talking about your innovative project, and I was thinking to myself, is all these aspects of engineering trained to a marine engineer, or with somebody who maybe did like mechanical engineering or electrical or mechatronics, because you talked of mechatronics, would then, I mean, are they part of, when they come on board as part of the team in the ship, are they automatically marine engineers as well? I guess what I'm asking about is like, does everybody specialize in their own kind of thing? So as a marine engineer, you're expected to know everything about the ship.
Uh, yeah. As a marine engineer, yes, you're expected to know everything. That's actually where now other engineers are limited compared to marine, because um, other engineers know how things work and how to maybe make them, repair them, and yeah, make and repair and construct. But now with marine, it's a whole, you have slight knowledge of how it works, and you need more of how to keep it working, and you need a lot more on various integrations, because say for instance, you have to keep your generator running, you have to keep the AC running, aircon system, you have to keep the sewage system running, you have to keep the pumps running, you have to keep the fuel flowing, and you have to keep the what else? Which other system? The water, like wastewater, running. So you integrate all this in every day, every day, every day. So you'll find, I don't know the nitty gritty of, let's say, a generator, but I know for sure I need to have my one side serviced. I need to make sure the core side is okay, So you know more of, you apply, a marine engineer, you apply yourself more, while other engineers really have the technical data sheet of equipment. So it's really hard for a non-marine to survive such an environment without the conversion training, because yeah, the challenges might overwhelm you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I guess so that means that there is there like there are no specializations like this department and you focus on that only, like any person, any engineer that you'd find in a ship would understand all aspects. They can deal with any situation.
On a bigger ship, we have dedicated electrician, we have dedicated HVAC, that's aircon system. You have dedicated motorman, that's to manage the pumps. You have dedicated, what else? Pumpman. So yeah, the bigger the ship, then the more the dedication. But yeah, any engineer on find on board knows everything about everything.
Interesting. That's actually very interesting. And earlier on, you were speaking of somebody who is non-marine coming to marine would have just so many challenges. And when
Yeah.
that made me think about some of the challenges that come with the job. Maybe you can walk us through that. What are some of the challenges that comes with practicing marine engineering?
The of course, you are away from your common environment for long. So if you like,
Yeah,
you won't see them for a while. Maybe you'll just keep up online, you'll keep up writing or something like that. You work long contracts. Of course, it's
Yeah,
physically
and
demanding.
please just allow me to interrupt you. I was wondering, what if somebody is afraid of water?
Change careers, do
Do you ever
something.
meet people like that? Like, it's like somebody who wants to be a doctor, then they go to medical school, then they are the first thing, because I hear those when you go to medical school in your first year, you're taken to the morgue. Then you're afraid of dead bodies or blood. Do you ever meet people who are afraid of staying in water? Like, literally you're in the middle of the sea. Like all you see is water. Do you
Well,
have colleagues like that?
I've never met such.
Okay.
Never.
Or the training just prepares you for everything.
But yeah, the training just separates you.
Okay.
If you're
Okay.
afraid, you
Then you
should.
can tell us. Mhm.
So yeah, there's like working away from home, long contracts, emergencies, something like fire or accident. Then there's you're always
Fire
learning. Yeah,
in the ship.
yeah.
Okay. How do you go about that?
Well, you have to put it out.
Of course, but now there's fire and you're in the middle of the water.
So yeah, they're
Alma,
like
that's why you have the engineer.
there's intense training towards such emergencies. So yeah, you
Okay,
practice
now
a lot.
that's me projecting my fear of water. Sorry.
So yeah, there's a lot of drills and trainings for emergency preparations, but again, it still can happen.
Or maybe I've watched too many movies, but there's some movies where the ship breaks down in the middle of the sea, and then you have to figure out, or the ones that has like the ship sinking. I mean, are those there in real life, or the engineers are just too good?
Yeah, it happens. Ships sink, uh, they stall. Yeah, it happens.
So has there been like a scary situation where I don't know the ship stopped working in the middle of nowhere?
I know for sure. Like I have been on a sinking ship once,
What?
and yeah, though it was rescued, but it's nothing new. It's like part of the day to day activities.
That's why you're the expert. So maybe you can also walk us through. You're walking us through the other challenges. Maybe some of the challenges that the professionals. I think the ones I'm talking about are for non-professionals, but some of the challenges that the professionals might face while in their work as marine engineers.
Yeah, professionally, it's just maybe the really high standards or to be maintained. Like there's a whole list of certifications and lots of inspections and lots of assessments. So you'll notice like most ships like are really clean, for instance, or most ships are always looking neat. Even if a ship is like 100 years old, it still looks neat. So there are standards of maintenance.
Now, after overcoming the challenges, right? What are the
Yeah.
rewards? I mean, you told me about um, the mentorship you had in your church a while back, and you heard about the figures, and you're motivated to pursue marine engineering. So, what are like the rewards after somebody overcomes all those challenges?
Of course, the number one is the competitive salaries,
Mm-hmm.
career. As you said, like you already see how structured it is. So you really
Yeah.
know how you're going to advance.
Mm.
Adventurers, the travels, the satisfaction that comes with just seeing, you see your results on the go. Um, the exposure to like global environments, cultures. So yeah, it's satisfying.
I love the travel part for sure. And the competitive salary.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, the non-structured part, I get it. Like once you're thrown in the industry, it's like you're thrown in the deep end. But it's quite the struggle, especially for us who doesn't have like structured career paths. It's so hard to navigate engineering without that, especially also with the few opportunities. But lucky marine engineers. Yeah. So I love the travel part for sure. Yeah. So Timothy, what advice would you give young Kenyans interested in marine engineering?
um, while still in school,
Mm,
maybe I'll split it to while in school and also just general advice is
sure.
if you're still in school,
Mm,
you'll of course want to improve your academics, math, physics as a problem solver. Add
mm,
on lots of computer skills.
mm,
Just have general knowledge about ships,
mm,
like exposed, no
mm,
random elements. It becomes easier as you come now. You switch up to the career. You
mm,
know, you have like a good imagination. Of
mm,
course, they join clubs and hang around fellow like-minded people. Get your hands dirty. Just have
mm,
basic mechanical skills. Just know how to hold
mm,
tools, how to handle your your machinery. Just the basics, not really the best of the best. And of course, above all, communication skills
mm,
like that.
mm.
That's a game changer. You need to know
Yeah,
how
yeah,
to
yeah. Mm,
and express yourself because there are like two parts to engineering. They say an engineer's language is in drawing.
mm, mm,
So over
mm,
and above, you must be able to draw your idea on
mm,
paper. If you
mm,
have like the project I was telling you about, I
mm,
had quite an advantage because anything I thought of, I could go and
mm,
sit on the computer and
mm,
uh, and draw it. Then when I'm presenting, I'm not just
mm,
telling people like a fantasy. I'm actually
mm,
showing people
mm,
this here, look like
mm,
this,
mm,
and it
mm.
cuts the curiosity.
Mm.
Uh,
That reminds me of when you were talking about the key skills, we didn't talk about like the softwares. What softwares would you use for that, the drawing, or do you do it manually?
of course, yeah, for starters, manually. Actually,
Mm,
for the long time, I draw manually,
mm,
but for me, because I said I embraced technology, I think a bit late.
mm,
So
mm,
CAD systems, or you start basically with AutoCAD, then I
mm,
advanced to SolidWorks, and
mm,
then advanced to simulation.
mm.
Uh, softwares like the likes of Rhino. I exposed
Okay,
myself to Corel. Core. Yeah, but the simulation I'm not so good. I only use it when I need it. But
okay.
when I'm strong at SolidWorks and AutoCAD.
Thank you. So, can you believe we've been almost 2 hours into this conversation? Time flies, and we only
Yeah,
have around 6 minutes. So, I want to just I want you to answer some of the frequently asked questions about marine engineering before I ask you some of questions of my own. So
uh,
maybe you can start us with if women can become marine engineers. Can women be marine engineers?
for sure. That's a common one, and
Mm,
it's a whole campaign on its own. Yeah,
mm,
women should marine engineer. I know of fleets that have all female crews. I know of Kenyans who are shining as both engineers and deck. There's one famous Captain Liz Marami, though she's deck, she's a captain and like she's like the first African female pilot, but she's one who like went away from the wave because it's a male dominated area. So same for the engineers. I've seen a lot of female senior engineers, like first engineer, second engineer, third. So yes, they can and they should in both Kenya and
Okay.
outside.
So all women wanting to go into marine engineering, definitely that's a space for you. Another frequently asked question. Um, if I go into marine engineering, do I always have to be in a ship? Work there
Um,
forever? Is that my world?
no, no, that's for starters. You can
Mm.
always, as we've seen, like opportunities come with information, so you can always branch out. Like personally, I'm not always actively on a ship,
Mm-hmm.
and I've embraced a lot more of out of ship tasks than on board tasks. So it's not always on board.
Okay. I wanted to ask you what, like what, but we don't have time. Next time. Is the work dangerous? Is the working as a a marine engineer, is it dangerous?
Yeah, yeah, it is dangerous, but again, the standards are high, the competencies required are high, and if like really something bad happens,
Mm.
then you must have been so intentional around
Mm.
creating an accident, or you must have been super, super, extremely careless because
Mm.
safety standards are like top, top.
Mm. Okay. Is it worth it to be a marine engineer?
Yeah, the rewards are good. I mean, they pay well, but if you enjoy solving problems, you will you'll have a good time. You'll find it very rewarding. The growth, and just the opportunity to apply yourself, even like outside, even in real life. You'd find one thing I know for sure: if an environment, say like an event or anywhere non-professional has marine engineers around, you'll see the difference in like the organization, the how they do the things, how they apply themselves, the reaction, the you just see a difference. You attend an event with one or two or three marine engineers within a good decision making space, you will feel like, hey, this is something different, unlike a non-engineer's space. And I've seen that personally. I've seen it like in our friends' events, and even in our church, we have a lot of youths who embraced marine. And you find, if you look around, the people who are making moves and the who are like change makers, you just find you can count like one, two, three, even 10 engineers. So it's a lifestyle.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree because there's this argument that China does well because engineers are in leadership and Kenyans should have more engineers in leadership. But speaking of which, marine engineers, why are you guys not in professional association?
Uh, Personally, I realized
Mm-hmm.
the the progression of professional associations doesn't really favor, doesn't really make it easy. For instance, I know, let's say EBK. Maybe I'm not fully informed, but I know first I register as a graduate engineer, and then you do your subscriptions, and then if you want to progress upward, there's you have to work, and then there's a matter of project, and then now your project has to be supervised, by another certified engineer, but you find a marine engineer is certified internationally. So they wouldn't say my first, my second, my third can be a Chinese, can be a Turkish, can be a Kenyan, can be a Russian. So if I apply myself to now EBK, how will they recognize my supervisor? So I don't know, it's either I'm not fully informed, it's a hard trap.
No, that's actually that's the information I was looking for because I was actually wondering why. I have never heard about it, especially for marine engineers. Never heard about it. Recently, it started mostly with civil. And if you look at even registered engineers, most of them are civil engineers. Then there's electrical, of course, mechanical majorly. But then they introduced the biosystems and the agricultural, yeah, recently. But then I've never heard of marine. So I wanted to understand why. So what body would that would be um that you'll be associating yourself with internationally? What's the name of that body?
Um, let's just look at the pathway. I finished
Mm,
my coursework. I have my
mm,
degree, my diploma. I finished my C time. So now I go to do my COC, Certificate of Competency. I go to the Kenyan Maritime Authority. Now they give me a booklet. I have my seaman book. That's like a passport for sailors. And I have my certificate of competency issued by the Kenyan Maritime Authority, which is like my license. It's like equivalent to a driving license on the road. So with those two documents, now I'm a qualified marine engineer. But my standards and like my working is assessed by the Kenyan Maritime Authority to the International Maritime Authority organization. So that's what levels me. That's what I can makes me able to stand, let's say, amidst foreigners. I can stand with a Ghanaian, and now, as much as we are from different countries, different experiences, I can look at him and say, this is a third engineer. He can look at me and say, oh, this is a fourth engineer, regardless of nationality. So you find
I get
he
that.
can
Mm.
provide and the opposite. So it's
Yeah,
like
that
a difficult
that's
system.
actually yeah. I see why marine engineers would go for that. Obviously, yeah. If it works internationally, like if my certification is recognized here and in Somalia and in Uganda and in USA, of course I would go for that. Yeah. So, in the next minute, I want to ask you a question from me now. After months in the sea, what's one food you crave for that's not there, that you'd only find on land?
Ah,
Or you have everything in the sea?
no, it changes on board. I'd say in my early days when I was still fresh,
Mm,
I would crave for Kenyan chapati and beans.
mm,
But now, over time, like on a different experience, I
mm.
I crave for matoke and meat.
Oh, okay.
So that's like the newest one.
Mm, okay. So when you get out of sea, the first thing you're going for matoke. Okay, okay.
Yes.
What's one thing that people get wrong about life at sea?
Huh.
You like
Um,
that out? Mm,
I am out.
okay.
People imagine
Mm,
people imagine like Of course, like the same you got, there's the issue of water. Are you scared of water? Um, can the boat sink? Can can I survive? Um, yeah, people imagine the worst about the risks at sea, and people think you live like a really harsh life, but you find like if you most people marvel at the accommodation, at the thought of having a gym in a ship, thought of having a basketball court, thought of having a swimming pool, and even the whole experience around water. I know I can sail for 3 weeks without seeing the ocean if I don't go up. If I just stay around my work area, I can hit 3, 4, even 2 months without seeing outside. So I don't really have that ocean far from land phobia. But yeah, I think people imagine the worst.
Yeah, because like what would if you stay 3 weeks without seeing the water, then what would you told us about the evening time, that mandatory rest time? What do you do? I mean, you're still indoors. Like, don't you feel like you're kind of like confined inside the ship? It's not like you can go outside and see the trees and well, like what like picture for me what would look like a refreshing evening or something. Like what do people do in the sea to wind down?
If you're an outside person, the most you can do is probably go fishing on the other side or go look at the stars. But if you're comfortable with indoor, there's a recreation center. So with with some good amenities. So there's watching a movie, there's gaming, to some there's reading. That's me. I'm Sam. Mostly reading. Um, yeah, it's not very varied, but just imagine a recreation center within the decks. To some there's
So
gym.
you definitely not feel like, yeah, I get it. It's like being at home and you have everything that you need inside there. Yeah. So, Timothy, I've had a great and awesome time, and we've had an audience with us throughout the 2 hours. I want to thank everyone who joined us. Thank you so much for your comments, for your contribution. I'm so sorry about my background noise. Thank you so much for joining. And Timothy, can you believe it's been 2 hours of talking about marine engineering, and yet I feel like we've not talked about everything. So I just want to thank you for making the time to join us here at One Day Talk and shedding the light and making us to understand what happened when it comes to marine engineering. And to be honest, this is a field that not everyone understands. Me included.
True.
Guilty. Like it's the first time I was hearing about it. So I just love that this information is out there. So maybe you are now the lady who came and told you about maritime careers. Now you might be that person to serve someone else right now. So thank you so much for creating the time to be here. I don't know if you have some parting shots before we close.
Uh, I don't know. I'd say thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for everyone who's listening in. And probably to anyone listening in, I say a lot, like I find myself saying a lot, you can do it. Of course, by God's grace, if you like work hard enough and apply yourself, you can be anything you want to be. If you want to change your career, I mean, there's always room. Just research, know, knowledge is power, and don't perish because you lack to know. And I'd say the underlying strength to like to the entire career and to the entire experience has been God, because over and above all these adventures and exposures and education, there's prayer and there's faith, and there's a matter of just acknowledging God through it all. Because even the whole knowing of this opportunity came from a church seminar. So as you can see, it's like just God holds your hand and every day He guides you, helps you, and I never say never, you know. And personally, also, I'm honored. As I told someone, I've never spoken to more than like 10 people at a go all my life. Mostly, I have like a small crowd of listeners, and my strength is in just social media. Like, I have a good following, but I never like put myself face out. So this is also a whole new adventure. I think I've unlocked talking for 2 hours about career, and I'm grateful. So yeah, just trust God, discipline, have faith, whatever field of engineering, even your own fields of engineering, and of course keep doing what you're doing. You're doing like some good exposure, you know, the whole platform, the initiative.
Thank you.
So
Mm.
keep it up. Thank you.
Amen to everything. And thank you for being here. Really, it's been a great time on our end as well. And first time for everything, you should do more of the camera. You should do more of the camera of the videos on your socials as well. Thank you
All
so
right.
much to our audience. Thank you for staying with us until the end of this conversation. I know we'll have Engineer Timothy again, either to talk more about marine engineering or mental health, something, but he'll be back here very soon. Okay,
Thank
until next time, that has been it at One Talks today. As always, I'm your host, Marion Gola. See you next time. See you next month. Cheers.